Did you know that everything that we do is to improve? Absolutely everything. We never do anything to consciously have a detrimental effect on our environment. And the same is true within IT. We never do anything to have a detrimental effect on our IT. Absolutely everything that we do is to improve. Whether it's stress testing, during testing, yes, we're trying to break something, but we're doing it to ensure reliability in our live environment once we deploy that service. Even stripping out functionality of a service, we do it to better align ourselves with the needs of the organisation. It's to improve. And so in our ITIL Practitioner guidance, we have some guiding principles to continual service improvement, some guiding principles to all of our improvement initiatives, and they should be focused on all of our improvement initiatives, or rather applied to all of our initiatives. And we'll start off with the first one, which is focus on value. Values perceived. We know this. We looked at this concept way back at Foundation, and we looked at the concept of value. We look at the concept of value when we're defining a new service in service strategy. But at the end of the day, there has to be a value to every single improvement initiative that we undertake. Now, value is perceived, completely perceived, which means that, let's just say, remember the definition of a service. A service is a means of delivering value by facilitating the outcomes that customers want to achieve without the ownership of specific costs and risks. So let's just say that I were to give you $30,000, £30,000, and I were to say, right, okay, we've both got £30,000 and let's go out and buy a car. What's the outcome that we want to facilitate? Well, we want to get from A to B. Okay. We're both going to go out and buy different cars. Why? Because we both have a different perception of what we value. And so when implementing any improvement initiative, we have to understand what our customer or what our stakeholders value. It might not necessarily be our customer. Some of our improvement initiatives are internal within our IT service provider. So think of what we value, what our stakeholders value. It might not be the obvious. We don't always want to go faster. Okay? So we don't necessarily want that sports car for $30,000. Well, I mean, you'll be lucky if you get a sports car for that sort of money. But nevertheless, we don't always want to go faster. Some people are looking for other aspects like reliability, or maybe the ability to carry a lot of people. And we all perceive value in different ways. So within any improvement initiative, we've got to start off by focusing on value, which means understanding what other people value, all of our stakeholders. What do they value? And focus on that. And then design for the experience. Like I said, it's not just about getting there faster. We have to design for the entire experience, which is why, tied back to that first guiding principle, this why value is perceived, because we perceive value in different ways. And then our third guiding principle, start where we are. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. When was the last time you started off with a blank piece of paper in IT? Probably back in the 1980s, right? We don't have a blank piece of paper. Okay. We always have existing infrastructure, we have our existing services, we have our existing skills and our existing people. We don't have the ability to start off with a blank piece of paper. So take a baseline, understand where we are right now. Remember our CSI approach, and in our CSI approach we start off with our vision, understanding our overall goal, what is it we're trying to achieve, and then work out where we are right now. A starting point not just for future comparison, but it's a building block for our improvement. You can't improve on something if you don't know what you're improving on. So start where we are, take our baseline, and then work holistically. In ITIL terms, holistically means both technical and non-technical. Again, designed for that experience. You don't just think about the functionality of a new service that you're bringing in, but think about how you're going to train people, how you're going to support that new service. Understanding your audience, how they would prefer to be trained, how they would prefer to use the service. Perhaps there's a colour on the screen that we want to avoid because we may have people that are colourblind, for example. Design for the entire experience and work holistically. Think about all of the aspects of any improvement initiative and ensure that we deliver value to stakeholders, but that we also consider all of our stakeholders, those that are implementing the improvement as well as those that are going to benefit from the improvement. And then this one should be fairly obvious, but nevertheless we sometimes forget this, and that's progress iteratively, step by step. Remember that CSI approach? We started off with our vision, and then we took our baseline, and then we worked out exactly where we wanted to be for each step. Oh, and by the way, we only planned that first step in great detail because we don't know exactly how far we're going to get on that first step. So we plan the first step in detail and the rest at higher level. Then we're not wasting time planning something that we might have to redo following the results of the first step. So progress iteratively and build on each improvement. If you try and get to your end goal all at the same time, it's going to end up with chaos. It's going to be a very painful process. Work out exactly what each step on your improvement initiative is and do one step at a time. And that way we've got visible improvement. Visible improvement helps to build momentum and also helps to boost morale too. Now the next couple of steps are ones that are really important, and I really like them, and our guiding principles here, the next couple are observe directly, and be transparent. Observe directly, or as I like to call it, get off your bum. Go and see what's going on. Sure, you can call people, you can interview people, you can send surveys to find out how people feel. But let's be honest. Yeah, let's be honest. When was the last time you were honest on a survey? When was the last time you were honest in a restaurant when the waitress came up to you and said, "Is everything okay with your meal?" And you sat there and said, yeah, it's fine. Even though there were a few things about it that you didn't quite like. The simple truth of the matter is that we will tell people what we want them to hear. We don't tell people necessarily the truth. Now I know that there's some of you sitting there now saying, no, I tell if the waitress comes up and says, is everything all right with your meal, then I'll tell them the truth. Some of us don't. So the only way that we can find out exactly what's going on as a service provider is for us to get off our bum and watch and go and see. Because just by asking questions, just by surveying, even just by having interviews or meetings, people are only going to tell us what they want us to hear. Business relationship management should help us a great deal with this. But even then, they can't see everything. So with any improvement initiative, find out how people work. And then find out whether that improvement initiative is actually working. So get off your bum. Go and see how people are working right now. Go and see how people work after your improvement initiative. And I tie that up with being transparent. Make yourself visible. Make the improvement initiative visible as well. It has to be visible to everybody. When things happen in secret, it seems underhand. And I'm sure that we've all been part of, or we've all felt like we're part of those changes where management will make an announcement and then we don't hear anything for 6 months or maybe even a year. There's no transparency there, so we believe that the importance is, less than it really is. Or maybe we believe that it's been forgotten about. But ultimately, when things happen in the background and things happen in secret, that's how rumours start. You don't want to harbour or foster an environment of rumours because that fosters resistance. So be transparent. Let people see how far you're getting, or maybe how far you're not getting. Let people see our successes, but as well as that, our failures. Because our failures will show that we are open and honest with all of our stakeholders. And that brings us into the next guiding principle, which is collaborate. Accept the fact that you can't do everything yourself. There are certain things that I can be quite good at, I guess, but there are certain things that I'm not so good at. And so build a team around you for any improvement initiative that have their strengths to complement your strengths. So you need to foster an environment of collaboration. You need a team that will work well together, and you need to collaborate so that you have strengths that will complement, and so that the improvement initiative, well, not only will be visible, but that improvement initiative will be successful as well. And lastly, our last guiding principle, which really builds on the progressing iteratively, and that is keep it simple. Don't try and bite off more than you can chew, as the saying goes, but keep it simple. Simple, small, iterative steps will eventually build to a big improvement. Overcomplication, trying to do too much, you end up with chaos. And it's not very good for morale or for motivation at all when you end up with chaos. So keep it simple. These were our guiding principles. They're outlined in our ITIL Practitioner guidance. But if you do have any more questions about CSI or any other aspect of ITIL, then please feel free to contact me at the email address below, and I will be glad to help you.